Surely they didn't tell me even the half of it. Your wisdom and prosperity surpassed the reports I heard. How happy your people must be. How happy these servants of yours who are always here attending you and get to hear your wisdom. Blessed be Adonai your God, who took pleasure in you to put you on a throne of Israel. Because Adonai's eternal love for Israel, he made you king to administer judgment and justice fairly. And what God is doing in this time, we got to understand. Listen, this wisdom is going to grant prosperity. Look, they're not going to believe it, huh? Some people, because a lot of people, you're going to have to make different decisions, and there's a shift. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like, looking, I'm on the East Coast, the Eastern Seaboard at present, and the leaves and the season changes. This is coming to you're in fall. Fall goes into winter. And typically what happens in fall, the leaves turn from green to all kinds of colors. And that's the process right before they die off, and that tree becomes bare. And that's so like there is with relationships and different things that are around you. Let me tell you something. Those things are dying off. Oh, Shabbat. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to go through that winter season. You may miss this, that, and the other, but I'm telling you, I decree and declare when spring comes up, new leaves and buds are going to come up on those branches. Oh, Shabbat. New relationships, new opportunities, new friendships. See, there's a shift, and we got to understand that we need God's wisdom. We need God's wisdom to make it through this. We need the wisdom of God. And God's favor is going to be upon us. There are many decisions that we've made and people don't agree with it. There are many people that will talk you out of it. And then there are people that you tried to help with making decisions. You tried to take them to a place that would bring them into a land with milk and honey. You tried to direct them out of bad decisions, bad relationships, bad business dealings, and they wouldn't listen. Oh, Shabbat. And that's okay. They'll be one of those dead leaves that die off. But guess what? God is doing something in the land, and his wisdom is needed to perfect the purpose that he has for your life. So let them go. Listen, let me tell you something. They can go, and you keep on moving and doing the things of God, because God's wisdom is needed. God's wisdom is needed. Nevertheless, I don't care what they do, God's wisdom is needed. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna make some decisions, you're gonna make some moves, and they're gonna see that you were hearing from God. Because let me tell you something, if God said it, God's going to do it. It shall come to pass just as God told you, as you continue to move in his wisdom. Listen, the safest place to be in the whole wide world is what? In the will of God. Remember how I said, take thy will forever. I will doubt thee, never cleanse my soul. Dear master, make me holy in thy. You got to have the will of God. Lord, forget about your will. God, you willed me. You created me. Now will me to do thy will. Will me to be thy will, That's right. Will me to be thy will. Isaiah chapter 11, starting at verse 2. The spirit of Adonai will rest on him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and power, the spirit of knowledge and fearing Adonai. He will be inspired by fearing Adonai. He will not judge by what his eyes see, or decide by what his ears hear, but he will judge the impoverished justly. He will decide fairly for the humble of the land. He will strike the land with a rod from his mouth and slay the wicked with a breath from his lips. Justice will be the belt around his waist, faithfulness the sash around his hips. The wolf will live with the lamb, and the leopard lie down with the calf. Young lions and feathered lamb together, with a little child to lead them. Cow and bear will feed together. The young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox. An infant will play on a cobra's hole, and a toddler put his hand in a viper's nest. They will not hurt or destroy anywhere on my holy mountain, for the earth will be as full of knowledge of Adonai, and the water covering the sea. And that's why it's so important that no matter what you're doing and where you're going right now, I tell you, today is the day that you seek after Adonai for his wisdom. Lord, I need thy wisdom for this. God, I need thy wisdom today. Listen, I'm telling you today, don't you make another step. Don't you make another move without God's wisdom. I feel the Spirit of God all over me, and he's talking to somebody specifically. You got decisions and you got different things that you're up against. And it seems like all you have is coins and you need dollars. And God will give you the wisdom to turn those coins into dollars. I'm telling you right now, God is moving right now. You just need God's wisdom. And you need to open up your mouth right where you are and lift those hands up and say, God, I need thy wisdom for this. God, I don't want to do this without thy wisdom. I need thy wisdom for this. Today, I need your wisdom, Lord. I need your wisdom for this. If I don't have your wisdom, how am I going to do this? It's impossible for me to do this without thy wisdom. So I need thy wisdom. I need thy wisdom for this, Lord. I got to have thy wisdom in this space. In Psalms 119, verse 9, he sent redemption to his people and decreed that his covenant should last forever. His name is holy and fearsome. The first and foremost point of wisdom is fear of Adonai. All those living by it gain common sense. His praise stands forever. So let me tell you something. You can't even have common sense if you don't fear God. You got to fear God just to have common sense. You got to fear God just to be able to move in the things of God. You can't do anything without fearing God. You must fear God in order to be successful in this place. It's just imperative. I don't care what nobody says. You got to fear God. The fear of the Lord is what the beginning of wisdom and knowledge. When you fear him and you understand who he is, amen. Listen, it's this common sense, that you have the ability to continue to move in and out in your journey. But you're moving in and out in your journey with one thing that you didn't have before, and that is what I call a willed will to do God's will, a willed will to do God's will, because it's a perfected will. And God's wisdom, when you want to do one thing, he moves you another way, and when he speaks, you obey. It's like you stop right in your tracks. In 2 Chronicles chapter 1, I'm going to go down to verse 11. God said to Shlomo, because you set your heart on this, because instead of asking for riches, wealth, honor, the death of those who hate you, or long life, you ask for wisdom and knowledge for yourself, so that you would be able to judge my people over whom I made you king. Not only are wisdom and knowledge being given to you, but I will also give you riches, wealth, and honor, such as no king before has ever had, and no king after you will ever have as much. And that's what God is doing today. See, when our mind, the meek shall inherit the earth, the humble thing. If above all things, ask God for the wisdom. Lord, today, God, I need your wisdom for this. I need your wisdom. I need your understanding, Lord. I want to make sure I'm making the right decision, and I can't do it without seeking you, God. So today, right where I'm at, Lord, I'm stopping. I'm not doing it so that I can get a new house, a new car, Lord, a new job, a new business. Lord, I just want your wisdom, oh Shabbat. I need thy wisdom so that I can live out my life, oh Shabbat. I need thy wisdom so that I could be perfected in the things of God. I need thy wisdom so that I know how to go in and out amongst your people, oh Shabbat, that I could display you to the people because of what thy wisdom. And so I'm coming after thy wisdom today. I'm not asking you for anything else, Lord. I don't need anything else. But if you would just grant me a little space, God, I'm asking for your wisdom. See, we're living in a time where you need God's wisdom just to be able to function and operate in life. And the reason why you do is because, listen, we've been privileged to be born in the generation of the last time move of God, the last manifestation of God. There is another move of God. There shall be another manifestation of God. Listen, it ain't going to end like this, but because we're living in the last days, listen, I'm telling you, there's wars and rumors of wars, sons against mothers, mothers against daughters, fathers against daughters, fathers against sons. There's so much corruption. There's murder going on in our schools. There's murder going on in our streets. There's perversion and lust. There's murder and lying and stealing in our governments and our leaders and legislations. So everything is going on. There's famine all over the land. There's all kinds of earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes and floods. And so we got to look up, oh Shabbat. We got to understand, Lord, where should we go from here? But God, oh Shabbat, won't you give me wisdom to make it through this? God, how can I be perfected, oh Shabbat? God, I want my purpose to be finished. I need thy wisdom. I need thy wisdom for this. I need thy wisdom how to love the person around me, how to instruct the people around me. How do I get them to come up, oh Shabbat, from where they are? I need wisdom for this. And so what you do is you pause. God, I need your wisdom for this. So I'm talking to somebody out there. I don't know what your situation is, and I don't know what your circumstance is, but you need to open up your mouth and say, God, I need your wisdom for this. Oh Shabbat. In the book of Revelations, I'm almost done. In the book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 16. Also, it forces everyone, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on his forehead, preventing anyone from buying or selling unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This is where wisdom is needed. Those who understand should count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a person, and the number is 666. And that's what I'm talking about. See, we got to have God's wisdom. Look, this is when wisdom is needed. And this time you can't move and operate and function without wisdom. We got men married to men, you got women married to women, and you got so many different things that are going on in the land. Listen, let me tell you something. You got so many things going on in the land. And right now is a time that we need God's wisdom. Am I closed? I'm going to read you this. But even while I'm talking to you now, I just wanted to talk to you today. I'm telling you, it's important that we get God's wisdom. We need God's wisdom in this space. We need God's wisdom for this. We just need his wisdom. We need his wisdom how for that we can love each other properly and you know, not judging and this and that, but justly judge the people the way God would have us to do it and love the people out of the love of God. We need the will of God be in us to grant us the wisdom to do that. And that's just it. We want to connect with the W's, the will and the wisdom, That's right. The will and the wisdom, the will and the wisdom. I want the will of the wisdom. That's right. And I want it to be moving and turning and spinning around me till I become the will and the wisdom of Yehovah. And you know that W is very important. That want, because I've learned that when you live a life where you want the will and you want the wisdom of God, you want first, the will second, and then his wisdom. When you do that, let me tell you something. Things will come to you. Things will come to you. Now listen, and a lot of times you'll go through maybe 2 or 3 people, but the perfect will of Yehovah will be displayed, because what? It's the will, it's the want. You want the will of God in God, which is the will of God. So you give back your will that you can exchange it for the will that you do the will of God. And then because of that, you get the wisdom of God. Everything is always surrounded about being in God's